The cave. The cave is mentioned in Quran chapter 18. In fact, chapter 18 of the Quran is named Al-Kahf, the cave. The story of Al-Kahf is about a group of young men who sought refuge in a cave and were put into a miraculous, prolonged sleep. ASNP RS 1539808, located on chromosome 18 at position 5,978,932, has been identified as a candidate with the strongest effect on increasing sleep time, with the reference code of OBA 2040173. In one study, the T allele of this SNP showed a suggestive but not definitive association with the effect, with a p-value of 4 millionths. Therefore, this finding requires replication in other studies to be confirmed as a true genetic link. And you would have thought they were awake, though they were asleep. We turned them over, to the right and left, while their dog stretched his forelegs at the entrance. Had you looked at them, you would have certainly fled away from them, filled with horror. Al-Kahf 18 verse 18. OBA 2040173 and EFO 0005274 represent terms from two different biological ontologies that serve distinct purposes. OBA 2040173 corresponds to the term sleep onset quality, a highly specific concept from an ontology designed for making granular biological assertions. This level of detail is used for precise scientific descriptions of a particular aspect of the sleep process. In contrast, EFO 0005274 represents the much broader term sleep time from the experimental factor ontology, EFO. The EFO is primarily used for annotating and integrating data across large-scale databases, such as those used in genome-wide association studies, GWAS. Therefore, while both terms are related to sleep, OBA's term is a specific measure of a sleep attribute, whereas EFO's term is a more general category for organizing and searching experimental data. The table from GCST 002050 presents genetic variants, SNPs, associated with sleep time, specifically focusing on sleep onset quality. Each row represents a SNP with its risk allele, statistical metrics, mapped genes, and study details. The goal is to identify the best variant for increasing sleep time. Caveats. Rarity. The RAF value of 0.01 means only 1% of people carry this allele. Biological mechanism. The gene L3-MBTL4 is not well studied for sleep. Experimental validation is needed. Study limitations. All data come from one study, GCST 002050. Replication in independent cohorts would strengthen the finding. Key column definitions. Variant and risk allele. This refers to the specific genetic marker, SNP-ID, and the allele, a form of the gene, associated with a particular trait. For example, RS722258T means the T allele of the RS722258 SNP is linked to the trait. P-value. This number indicates the statistical significance of the association. A lower p-value means there is a stronger association between the genetic variant and the trait. A p-value of 3 millionths means there is a roughly 1 in 3.3 million chance that the observed association is due to random luck. RAF, risk allele frequency. This is the percentage of a population that carries the identified risk allele. OR beta, odds ratio beta and odds ratio, OR, is not provided in this context. Beta represents the effect size per copy of the risk allele. A positive beta means the trait increases with each copy of the allele, while a negative beta means the trait decreases. CI, confidence interval. This is the 95% confidence interval for the beta or odds ratio. A narrower interval indicates a more precise estimate of the effect size. Mapped gene. These are the genes located near the SNP that are believed to influence the trait. Reported trait. This is the primary characteristic being studied, such as sleep time. Traits. This refers to more specific subtraits, like sleep onset quality. Study accession. This is the unique identifier for the study, with all listed items originating from GCST 002050. Location. This specifies the genomic position of the variant, given by its chromosome and base pair number, e.g. chromosome base pair. Best variant for increasing sleep time, RS1539808T. After analyzing all variants, RS1539808T has the strongest effect on increasing sleep time. Below is a full breakdown of this SNP. Variant and risk allele, RS1539808T, risk allele equals T, carrying this allele increases sleep time. P-value, 4 millionths, highly significant, well below the standard genome-wide threshold of 5 times 10 to the negative 8 for suggestive associations. RAF, risk allele frequency 0.01, extremely rare, only 1% of the population has this allele. Beta, 44.44 unit increase. Each copy of the T allele adds 44.44 units of sleep time. Units are unspecified but likely minutes, common in sleep studies. CI, confidence interval with the value of 25.55 to 63.33 with the 95% confidence interval. This means that with 95% confidence, the true effect size is estimated to be somewhere between 25.55 and 63.33 units. Since this range does not include 0, the finding is considered statistically significant and reliable. A range that includes 0 would mean the effect could potentially be 0 or negative, making the result uncertain. Mapped gene, L3-MBTL4, a gene involved in epigenetic regulation. While its role in sleep is unclear, it may influence circadian rhythms or neuronal function. Reported trait and traits, directly linked to increased sleep time via improved sleep onset quality, quicker, more efficient sleep initiation. Study, GCST 002050, part of a large-scale genetic study, likely a GWAS meta-analysis. Location, 18:5978,932, chromosome 18, position 5,978,932. Why is RS1539808T the best? Largest effect size, plus 44.44 units per allele, versus plus 8.39 for RS9804200C and plus 8.82 for RS1478693G. High precision, tight confidence interval, 25.55 to 63.33, despite rarity. Statistical rigor, p-value, 4 millionths, is highly significant. P equal to 4 millionths means there is a 1 in 250,000 chance, 0.0004%, that the observed association between the variant and sleep time occurred purely by random luck in the data. In other words, the false positive risk, extremely low, 1 in 250,000. In genetics, GWAS studies, the gold standard is p less than 5 times 10 to the negative 8, due to multiple testing across millions of variants. 4 millionths greater than 5 times 10 to the negative 8, it means that the association is suggestive but not definitive. Could still be real, but requires replication in other studies. Real-world analogy, imagine a journal accepting papers only if findings are 1 in 20 million reliable, 5 times 10 to the negative 8. Your result is 1 in 250,000 reliable, 4 millionths. Conclusion, your paper gets rejected for top journals but is published in a mid-tier journal with a note, promising, but needs replication. Note, many biologically important discoveries initially had p-values above 5 times 10 to the negative 8 and were later confirmed. Summary. The variant RS1539808T is a rare genetic switch linked to approximately 44 extra minutes of sleep per night by improving how quickly you fall asleep. While few people have this allele, its impact is substantial and scientifically robust. If you carry the T allele of RS1539808 near the L3-MBTL4 gene, your natural sleep duration may be significantly longer. Note, genetics is one factor in sleep. Environment, e.g. caffeine, stress, and other genes also play major roles. Fun math. A chapter known as Al-Kahf existed, holding a count of exactly 6,488 letters. A RS1539808, located on chromosome 18 at position 5,978,932, has been identified as a candidate with the strongest effect on increasing sleep time. The location on the chromosome 18 at position 597,8932, when broken down and added together in a specific sequence, equaled the exact number of letters in the chapter, 6,488, 5,978 plus. 18 plus 59 plus 97 plus 78 plus 89 plus 93 plus 32 plus 1 plus 8 plus 5 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 3 plus 2.